Hello everyone, here is this week's rundown of the most relevant news and other updates in sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. I'm Nicole Cordoves and this is the MB Rundown. New Customs Commissioner Isidro La Peña aims to end corruption in the Bureau of Customs or BOC as he assumed the top post on Wednesday. La Peña said the marching orders given to him by President Rodrigo Duterte are to stop the long-festering problem of corruption in the BOC and increase its revenue collection. The former Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Director or PDEA said he would bring to the Bureau the policy he implemented in PDEA to stop corruption. The one-strike policy will be implemented to boost internal cleansing, which of course shall be supported by intensified counterintelligence efforts that he will establish inside and outside the Customs Bureau. La Peña said as he assumed office that he intends to make changes and not judgments on the Bureau. He intends to give each of the employees a clean slate so as the Customs can move forward. La Peña also challenged the Customs employees to prove their worth and he will back them up. But once he receives reports of an employee's involvement with corrupt practices and such reports are validated, he will not think twice in letting them go. Unlike former Customs Commissioner Nicanor Faeldon, who received texts before he could even assume his post in 2016, La Peña said he did not receive any. However, he said that he received information that someone is already using his name to collect money. La Peña gave a stern warning to those unscrupulous individuals. He also said that Filipinos should not hesitate to apprehend these individuals under citizens' arrest and that they will be given a reward. Zero tolerance will also be exercised against corruption in the Bureau. Aside from the one-strike policy, La Peña plans to establish a 24/7 feedback mechanism that will receive reports of corruption in the Bureau. Meanwhile, outgoing Commissioner Nicanor Faeldon urged all customs employees to work with the new commissioner, saying La Peña is better than him. Faeldon said that it is not easy to change the stigma of the Bureau, but with the incoming Commissioner Sid La Peña, Faeldon is sure that he can do 1,000 times more than he did. He encouraged the stakeholders to come forward and tell the new commissioner what they have failed to tell him during his term. La Peña also appealed to the stakeholders, especially the importers, to support and cooperate with the BOC. The Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Eduardo Año said that there's no longer any way out for the Maute group that is still holed up in Marawi City. The government forces tightly guarding the perimeters of the city will also make sure that sympathizers won't be able to sneak in to reinforce the Maute terrorists in the main battle area. Among those still holed up in Marawi City are Maute Group leaders Abdullah and Omar Maute and Abu Sayyaf leader Isnilon Hapilon. Despite the presence of the key Maute leaders in the main battle area, Año said they don't expect the battle to last very long since the area which terrorists still in control is getting smaller each day. Año also stated that they have seen the developments and the progress of their campaign. The government forces was happy to report as well that they were able to get hold of the Grand Islamic Mosque and that they were able to preserve it. On Monday, the attempt to reinforce Maute Group fighters still holed up in Marawi was foiled when alert troops killed 10 terrorists following a 3-hour clash in Lanao Lake, Lanao del Sur. The 10 suspected terrorists were trying to sneak into the main battle area when soldiers from a task group monitoring Lake Lanao chanced upon them on board 2 motorized pump boats at about 2:30 a.m. Monday. And good news for commuters because the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or the LTFRB lifted the suspension of Uber on Tuesday after it paid its fine. Uber initially paid the 190 million peso fine, but the firm still failed to hit the road after the LTFRB wants proof that it paid its driver or operator partners around 299 million pesos as assistance during the days they were prevented from going to work due to this suspension. The LTFRB then asked Uber drivers for receipts of the financial aid they got and checked for samples if it matched in their system. With the presence of Uber representatives, LTFRB officials found that all the receipts matched. Uber was suspended last August 14 for accrediting new drivers despite an order by the LTFRB to stop further driver accreditations. Opposition leader and Albay Representative Edsel Lagman has assailed the leadership of the House of Representatives for prioritizing a bill that would provide a legal cover for foreigners to own public utilities in the country. The House Bill 5828 provides a statutory definition of public utility, which is actually a subterfuge to allow foreigners to own and operate public utility enterprises. The bill was a consolidated version of 5 bills separately introduced by Representatives Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Joey Sarte Salceda, Arthur C. Yap, Feliciano Belmonte Jr., Jose Christopher Belmonte, and Monsur T. Del Rosario III. At the present, the Constitution requires that public utilities must be owned by Filipino citizens or by corporations, partnerships, or associations where not less than 60% of the capital stock is owned by Filipino citizens. Authors of the bill said the proposal will clarify the definition of public utilities in order to open up certain industries to more competition. They stressed that the measure will also provide a mechanism for rate fixing that allows a reasonable rate of return to attract investments into public utilities. House Bill 5828 provides that the maximum rate of return shall be equal to the post-tax weighted average cost of capital for the same or comparable business computed using established methodologies such as the capital asset pricing model. The bill also provides that income tax shall be allowed as a cash outflow for rate determination purposes. However, the provision will not bar the application of performance-based rate regulation if government deems it more efficient and to protect public interest. Lagman also added that the bill also deletes from the enumeration of public utilities traditional public utilities like common carriers and telecommunications companies which are at present operating with controlling Filipino ownership. In foreign news, North Korea fired a missile that flew over Japan and landed in waters off the northern region of Hokkaido early on Tuesday. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said Tuesday that he and U.S. President Donald Trump agreed to hike pressure on North Korea. Abe also added that their outrageous act of firing a missile over Japan is an unprecedented, serious and grave threat and greatly damages the regional peace and security. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga said the latest North Korean missile fell into the sea 735 miles east of the Cape of Erimo on Hokkaido. The Japanese government's J-Alert system broke into radio and TV programming warning citizens of the possible missile. Bullet train services were temporarily halted and warnings went out over loudspeakers in towns in Hokkaido. South Korea's military said the missile was launched from the Sunan region near the North Korean capital just before 6 a.m. and flew 1,680 miles, reaching an altitude of about 340 miles. The Japanese military did not attempt to shoot down the missile, which passed over Japanese territory around 6:07 a.m. local time. It broke into 3 pieces and fell into the waters of Hokkaido. In Washington, the Pentagon confirmed the missile flew over Japan but said it did not pose a threat to North America and said it was gathering further information. And now here are updates from Manila Bulletin Sports section. After 12 years, the Philippine team earned another gold medal in Pencaksilat when Dines Dumaan won against his Indonesian opponent last Tuesday in the just-ended 29th Southeast Asian Games. Dumaan beat his Indonesian opponent who was enjoying a 3-game winning streak in the men's standing Class A 45 to 50 kilogram division. Hailing from Capiz and a son of a farmer, Dumaan took up Pencaksilat less than 2 years ago and lost all 2 bouts overseas before finally breaking through with a gold medal in the SEA Games. In an interview, Dumaan said that he started out as a Taekwondo athlete representing his school where he had little success. He revealed that he never got his black belt. He also dabbled in mixed martial arts and kickboxing until he was introduced into the little-known martial art that originated in Indonesia. Now that the 29th Southeast Asian Games has ended, the Philippines can look forward to the future with the emergence of the new star athletes. Filipino-American Trenton Anthony Beram lit up the tracks with a golden sweep. Aris Toledo stunned the field in decathlon. Caitlin de Guzman sparkled in gymnastics, and Brennan Wayne Louis struck gold in fencing. The list includes Filipino-British John Nobel Marvin in boxing, Agatha Wong in wushu, Maria Takahashi in judo, Dines Dumaan in Pencak Silat, and John Colin Sikia in equestrian. After 402 events in 38 sports, the Philippines closed out with 24 golds, 33 silvers, and 64 bronzes. Among national sports associations, athletics has the most golds with 5, including Eric Cray's last gasp win in the 400-meter hurdles. But triathlon tops them all with a sweep of 2 events. For the 5th straight games, the Philippines failed to win a single gold medal in swimming, where it fielded only 8 entries to vie for 38 golds. But the sport can take solace from the 2 silvers won by Phil-American James Deparin, who, along with Nicole Oliva, can be counted upon when the country hosts the Games 2 years from now. As expected, the men's basketball team retained its title despite initial struggles against Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. There were also unexpected gold each from the lawn bowls and ice hockey, matching the feat of wushu and fencing. Congratulations to all Pinoy athletes! And besides the SEA Games, we all have another thing to be proud of, because Globe Telecom, through TM Football Para sa Bayan 2017, gave 10 talented underprivileged youth a chance to be part of the Astro Kembola 5-day advanced training program in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Globe partnered with Astro Malaysia Holdings Berhad, a leading content and consumer company in Southeast Asia, and its online video services, Tribe Philippines. The best players will get a chance to join the overseas training camp in Barcelona, Spain, where they will be trained by coaches from FC Barcelona this December. Globe, in partnership with Green Archers United Football Club, together with 3 grassroots football organizations, Dream Big Pilipinas, Fundación Santiago, and Fund Life International, conducted tryouts across the country. This was participated in by 600 young football aspirants, mostly from underprivileged communities, conflict areas, and disaster-affected provinces.
Ang goal ng TM Sports Para sa Bayan is really to give opportunity sa mga kabataan ng Pilipino. Kasi alam namin, maraming mga skilled at mga talented na bata across the country. Kulang lang sila ng opportunity to display their skills. So we want to give them the chance to go to training in the world stage, to compete globally.
The TM Football Para sa Bayan also aims to use the power of sports to help in the character formation of the children.
We have 3 objectives. We have for them to develop good values formation. 2 is that academic excellence and healthy lifestyle, of course. Because through playing sports, mas nagiging well-maintained yung health, and then you don't have to do all other kinds of stuff except for playing sports lang talaga.
Green Archers United Football Club helped in the selection of the 10 youth who were sent to Malaysia.
Skills gotta be there, but over and above that, they have to be able to have a capacity to learn. They have to be able to follow instructions, listen to the coach. They have to have some sort of drive, and you have to see that their love for the sport as well.
So from us here in the Manila Bulletin, congratulations to the 10 young athletes, and we hope that the training in Malaysia will burn more passion in your hearts for sports. Moving on to the lifestyle section, the Asia Pop Comic Con Manila 2017 was recently held at the SMX Convention Center and was well received by Pinoy fans. Upon entering the convention center, fans were transported into their favorite TV shows and meet Pinoy artists showcasing various arts. Netflix, who is one of the exhibitors, brought a replica of the place from TV series like Stranger Things, Orange is the New Black, Riverdale, and many more. Tabi Po, a graphic novel turned movie about mythical creatures by Mervyn Malons, brought in a really big and creepy tree inside the hall where you can take pictures with their actors. The ever-famous TV show Walking Dead was also a big hit with its escape challenge where you have to save a friend. Inside their booth was a maze where you have to solve puzzles while on the verge of being eaten by zombies. Fans also got a chance to know how they would look like if they were bitten by a zombie. The booth of Octopod Incorporated actually offered on-site transformation headed by their founder, Miss Laura Ledesma. Now that was an exciting 3-day event, and for sure, more fans are looking forward in the next edition of Asia Pop Comic Con Manila. And that's it for this week's edition of the MB Rundown. But before we go, we would like to leave you guys with a thought to think about this week. The glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall. And that wraps up this week's MB Rundown. Thank you so much for watching and have a great weekend.